course, enjoy sports. Today we're going to discuss the 53-man roster, talk about what Nick Casario and D'Amico Ryans pulled off today, talk about some of the cuts, see if y'all had some surprises, see if it was some guys y'all wanted cut, and who we think they're going to end up signing off of the waiver wire, as well as who they going to bring back on practice squad. Y'all make sure y'all get in the chat, though. Let me know how the audio is as well. Tired of Christian Harris being hurt. Well, it's one of them things, man. He'll be back in time. I think more than likely he'll end up being back, probably about week one or so. So we're gonna find out. Already, Wild. Shout out to Wild. Shout out to the whole round. Make sure y'all share on all y'all social media platforms. Let everybody know we live. Um, Days, what's good, big dog? Appreciate y'all boys coming through, man. The last little video I did went very well. The numbers is doing that, so we're gonna try to go ahead and I got this whole week off. We're gonna try to stream every day, from here on out, leading all the way up until the season. So I'm probably gonna start dropping videos as far as over and unders, and some big videos so that we can be able to try to make some money throughout the season as well. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get to the roll call, and then we're gonna get into the content. Let's see what we got up in here. We got Truth Walker, Jabari. Let's see, Big Steve in the crib, Wise, Days, JPEG, D Love. What's good with y'all boys? Absolutely, absolutely, man. Hey, Q713, what's good, big dog? It's a lot of moves being made. We got the list ready. We're gonna be ready to talk about it in a few seconds. We're gonna go ahead and kick it off thoroughly. So the 53-man rosters came out the deadline and passed. It's a lot of cuts. It's a lot of cuts. And one of the prime positions that I knew that we had been going back and forth with on the Discord was the how many wide receivers would they keep? Which I figured they would end up keeping six. We ended up keeping seven, and the only reason why I personally thought we would keep six is because I thought Robert Woods was going to be on his way out. I understand we heard a lot of rumblings talking about John Mitchell. Had a lot of trade interest, and a lot of teams like Pittsburgh, as well as the Saints, and a few other content creators who are throughout the NFL, were very interested in what they seen with John Mitchell. He put a lot of good stuff on tape, and I can understand why he garnered so much interest. He's been healthy, outside of his sickness, which he couldn't avoid. He didn't have to worry about any lingering issues, from a physical standpoint. Antoine, what's good, big dog? Y'all make sure y'all smash on that like button as y'all get on up in here. Show that love so we can get more people up in here. Elijah, what's good, fam? Noah Brown hasn't practiced at all, so he's kind of one of those guys that we wanted to get into. Personally, I wanted. We already know who the big three was. We know Hutchinson was playing extremely well and led all the receivers in all of the major categories throughout the preseason. You can see a lot of things that he was doing, he was going to end up doing. And I think if there's ever a scenario where Nico goes down and they want to have a big guy playing the X on the outside and they want to be able to use him on sweeps, misdirection plays, he's definitely a guy that you have in the scenario to be able to do that along with a guy like Steve Sims. So I think you have a lot of moving parts on the offense. I could say my biggest surprise was it was as many running backs as they kept. I wasn't even aware that Jawar Jordan ended up having a foot injury or something like that in the game. Shout out to Big B because I asked him about it. I was like, bro, when did he even get hurt? But it was like he didn't come back in the game. That's why we saw so much of British Brooks in the back half of this game and guys like JJ Taylor. JJ Taylor and Jawar Jordan, were two running back cuts, two running back, um, two running back cuts. But I can see how they didn't make the team because so many of the other guys just exhibited a certain amount of burst, vision, patience. They were reading the O line very well. And when it came to their contact balance, they weren't guys that can go down very easily. And I think, with the group of guys that we have in the running back room, because we are carrying four running backs, no fullbacks whatsoever. Um, Beck, Harrison, they both got cut. Um, Keegan Quintariano, he got cut, so we're rolling with three tight ends. So the top three guys, Stover, of course Schultz, and now Brevin Jordan. We only cut two offensive guards. What is his name? Dieter Eisling and Chris Reed. No guys who were going to end up making the team. We cut Chris Boyle. So Case Keenum is in a situation where he's going to end up being on IR because he sustained some foot injury or something like that. So he's not going to count against the roster spot because that's not somebody that they actually have to bring on because they have a certain type of designation for the quarterback. So Davis Mills, that stands right now, is still going to end up being the backup quarterback to CJ. I know a lot of us wanted, um, Davis Mills gone, but I can understand why they're going to be able to keep a viable backup. I don't think he's as great, but he's going to be able to get it done considering the amount of protection and the weapons that he has at his disposal. So if for some reason, which I doubt is going to end up happening, but if anything was to happen to CJ, I think we can hold on in a decent spot, especially if it's just for a game, possibly two. The receivers, though, Johnny Johnson wasn't a guy that I thought was going to make the team at all. Noah Brown mainly was a name from last year, and when he came in, he was a good number four option, number five option. He gave you a lot of speed, a lot of versatility, especially to be able to make big plays, and he had a lot of deep speed. So if you made your guy miss, he had a lot of power. He could trick you, he could run you over, and hit you for big plays at any given time when he was targeted. Main reason why this man got cut was because of him. Had he been on the field, I think he would have been playing on this football team as it's being constructed right now. But I think he'll end up having a job as soon as somebody can find a little bit more room to be able to add him to the squad. I think a lot of teams who are down a receiver or was looking for receiver help, he's definitely a guy that's definitely going to be able to help out your football team as well as Ben Skoranek. Both of those guys, are going through little minor nagging injuries right now, but when they get that fixed, I think they can definitely help out. Another guy that we cut was the other receiver was Quintez Cephas. Not sure really what he was going to be able to do for this football team because I think it was really just a numbers game. They didn't bring in a whole lot of receivers. I want to say all together we had like, if we count these four guys that got cut and the guys that we still have on the roster, I can say we had like 11 receivers total. And we know why Steve Sims was kept because he's going to be our primary returner, whether that be kick return. If they choose to use Tank in some of those scenarios, I think he'll end up being one of the other guys who's going to end up making this team. I could say one of the most surprise keeps, but it really shouldn't be a shock to anybody, is the fact that they kept Damian Pierce. We're going to be going into the season with Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce, Akers, British Brooks. That's our tandem in running back right now. We need a deep tandem. I think there are a lot of things that they're going to be able to do in the passing game as well as pass protection because I believe they and shout out to Big B. I believe that they're going to end up using British Brooks almost in a fullback scenario without actually labeling him the fullback. If you go look at some of the videos and if you have an X account, you're on Twitter, you can see some of the videos and a lot of the pass blocking situations that he was in, whether he was in check and release or if we were in play action and he was cleaning up a lot of his blockers and he was blowing dudes up. Um, he did that. He did that very, very well, and he did it consistently with no issues. So I can see that's a major reason why he made this team. If he didn't have that aspect of his game, I'm not quite sure if he makes this roster considering how deep it actually is. Let me get to some of you guys' comments, see what's going on here. Yeah. Leonard Avery, what's good, big dog? Yeah. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like button. I like Brooks too. How the hell Murray's still on the team? Bro, he's quality depth. Eric Murray, MJ Stewart, we need guys like that. Just as long as they're not the main guys, but when they come in and when they have the spell guys, they had played very well, especially under D'Amico. So I can see why they still on this team. I'll take Jameis Winston from Cleveland. He not going nowhere. They want to trade him. If they do want to trade him, I consider that a mistake on the Browns. In if they do trade him, and they just want to solely rely on Deshaun Watson. I mean, I do understand that they do have DTR, but is he going to be ready if Deshaun does go down? And much to be said about Deshaun Watson, and even though we're not going to really make it about him, he was 5-1 last year as a starter. So there you go with that. Um, Corner, Chris Boyd. You know what? I don't even see Chris Boyd. I don't even see Chris Boyd even as a cut. But I seen Mike Ford got cut. CJ Henderson, I was so glad when he got cut because I never felt like he should have made the team from the get go. Desmond King is a shell of himself. He's not the guy that got cut last year, before training camp, went to the Steelers, brought him back after, week 4, and he played fairly decent, as the season went on. I think right now is definitely the time to be able to let him go. You got a little younger at the position, and you have guys who are playing way better than he was. So he definitely needs to go. Troy Pride also gone. Dude was getting cooked the entire training camp, the entire off season, preseason. He was getting smoked left and right. He needed to go. I think some of the hardest cuts though was at the DN spot. Solomon Bird. Solomon Bird more than likely will end up being a practice squad player, as well as Ali Gay and D tackle Marcus Hunt. I think they'll end up in there. A few of these players, I think, will end up coming back, like Jawar Jordan. I think he'll be on practice squad. Ali Gay, I think he'll be practice squad. One of these fullbacks may be on practice squad because I want to say it's like 12 to 15 spots for practice squad. So Max Tooley, I can see making it to practice squad. Um, Maybe Lonnie Johnson, Malik Fisher. Um, There's not really a lot of guys that I really look when I look over the list and say, do these guys need to make practice squad? It's only about 7 guys that I can look at, and depending on who they be able to pick up on waivers, whoever comes through that, if they want to be able to put them in their farm system, they're gonna be able to do that and be able to have some further development. So if any injuries go down, you will have some quality depth. But as it stands right now, because we're going to move on to the next subject, and Christian Harris is going to end up starting the season on IR. Now, while I understand it may be a concern to some fans, I don't think it's going to be much of. I don't think it's really going to be much of an issue. I think, especially considering when you look at the schedule and at the time frame, if he does sit out 4 to 6 games, but even on the low end, say if he only sits out 4 games, he'll be back for the Bills game and every other game after that, especially if he maintains being healthy throughout the remaining portion of the season. He'll just barely miss the Jazz game. I want to say what is game 3? He'll miss the Bears game. He'll miss the Colts game, and he'll miss the Vikings game. So I think those are 4 games that we could definitely survive without him at that point. And I think Aziz is going to end up having to take his game to another level, along with everybody else. So the linebacker depth, while we look at it right now, may not look strong, might end up being a strength when the season starts. I think D'Amico being the coach that he is, and depending on the decisions and the spots that he chooses to put certain guys in, I don't think he's going to make any play calls that's going to put the team at a detriment. This is why you have Jimmy Ward and Petrie playing in positions that they're playing in, especially Jalen Petrie playing on the line of scrimmage, and the role that he's going to be in. So I think when you need to worry about run support, and if you need guys at the second level to be able to come down and help make plays as well as coverage, who better to be in those positions than Jimmy Ward and Jalen Petrie? So I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. It depends on what type of offenses that are going to be able to exploit some of the moves. But if there was a position that might potentially be a weakness as it stands right now, it's not going to be D tackle. It's going to be linebacker. But I wouldn't fret just yet. We have to see it, but I can understand why anybody would want to end up bringing in some more depth at that position. Let's see what we got up here. See what else we got. Yeah, Gay, Malik Fisher. Titans traded for Ernest Jones. I wish we got him. There are definitely a lot of guys who ended up hitting a lot of the trade blocks. It's a lot of guys who are going to be out on the scene that we're more than likely going to be able to benefit bringing in this on this team at some capacity. So I wouldn't really, bringing in another extra young corner like a guy like Kalen King, somebody like that. A name that got thrown around early was Caleb Farley. I'm personally not on that boat, but guys that I definitely would love to bring in is Saiki Ika, that got cut from the Browns, as well as damn, what's his name? Jacqueline Roy, that just got cut from the Vikings. Man just got drafted last year. I think it could be a power play to be able to add him inside of the D tackle room, especially with Tim Settle being down right now. So, while you have Mario Edwards until, the Danico Archery situation sorts itself out, I think if you want to end up having a little bit more depth and just have a heavier rotation, until he comes back, I think bringing in one of those young guys to be able to play alongside of Mario Edwards and Foley will definitely be beneficial for the football team. Let's see, 17 players per practice squad. Titans ready for okay. Yeah, we caught up on all of that. Um, but how y'all feeling about some of the moves that we've made thus far? Like, what move do you think that we should have made? I'm pretty much cool with everybody and everybody that we have on this list for the most part, because certain positions I wasn't even thinking about. I already knew who the starting on line was going to end up being, whether it be guard, center, and tackle. So that kind of explains itself. It's nobody I look at on the only person that I see that potentially could end up coming back if they needed some depth would be Cameron Irvin. Outside of that, I don't see Charlie Heck, David Sharp, or Killian Zierer being a part of this football team. I just don't see it. I know they were going to have some tough decisions at wide receiver, running back, DN, because we had a plethora of guys. Max Tooley, Jacob Phillips, maybe you can make a case for those guys being on practice squad. So if it is some guys that we possibly have right now who kind of know our system, I think those are probably the only two guys that you could bring up if we have any issues that got cut by us. None of the corners I would bring back. None of these guys that got cut at corner I would bring back. Lonnie Johnson, potentially. He played well during the preseason. He was opportunistic. He was in on run defense. I understand he did bang his head in the last preseason game, but he's all right. Ended up catching a stinger. But I really just don't look at the list that we have of these guys and say, hey, one of these guys really decided to stay. One of these guys really needs to stay besides J.J. Taylor, Jawar Jordan. And it's only because the running back position was just so deep. Sherman Hill, what's good? Who are some of the guys that y'all seeing that are getting cut that y'all want to be able to bring in? I want to hear y'all thoughts. Just Pete Brown got cut. You talking about Noah Brown? Yeah, he been cut for hours. He was one of the first cuts we made, and rightfully so. He hadn't played during preseason at all. Nah, we shouldn't have kept. Nah, no, hell no, no. You have that backwards, bro. Hutch was always the move. I don't know if y'all really have watched Xavier Hutchinson, whether it was at college, bro. When Xavier Hutchinson's number is called upon, he shines. Big guy, big target. They wanted somebody like that, 6'3", got speed, has some versatility, can do a lot of different things, can play in motion, jet sweep, like I said. He can make good decisions when he's coming around the edge, and you can target him down. And I think he's a good red zone threat, which is another reason why they kept him. You could not justify keeping Noah Brown on this football team. And like I said, even if Noah Brown doesn't get picked up, Noah Brown more than likely will end up being a practice squad player if we are in a pinch. I feel good about every single one of the guys that we got. Miles Murphy, definitely, bro. I was very surprised about that from the Bengals. But the DN position is deep right now. You got you got Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, Derek Barnett, Jerry Hughes. I mean, you got a lot of guys, bro. I can't even think of all the guys on the top of my head because there's so many guys. What linebacker would I want to bring in? I'd have to go back over the list. I had somebody in mind because I was talking about it like about an hour or so ago. I can't really think about it, and I don't want to be able to jump off of the screen because it's going to end up doing some whole stuff and it's going to slow the whole process down. So right now, I don't have anything in front of me to be able to check it, but that's all it is. AAS injured. Who is AAS? What is the AAS? It's a dog, bro. I watched him in college. Yeah, yeah, that boy nice. Yeah, yeah. Hutchinson was the best receiver that wasn't in the top three. I mean, I understand Mitchell came on the last two games. Oh, Aziz. What about Aziz? No, Aziz ain't injured. Nah, he ain't injured at all. No, he not injured. Yeah, I was like, hey, yes, who the hell is that? No, Aziz healthy. Aziz ready to go. I think the positions that we got, the ones that we kept, really got better. Don't like the Marcus Harris cut. Well, I understand. I think he's going to be a practice squad player. I don't think he's going in. I don't think he's going anywhere far. I think he's going to end up being designated to the practice squad. He's one of the. He's one of my many favorite players. Him, Ali Gay, Solomon Bird, um, Tooley. You can make a case for Fisher, Jawar Jordan. Out of all these receivers, you could Noah Brown, somebody like that, just in case if somebody didn't, if they make it through waivers. But besides that, Christian Harris has a just a hand, he just has a lingering hamstring injury that he had. He had came back to practice, had hurt it again, and so they just putting him on a little hour just to be able to make sure that it's all good. When the season comes out, I don't know exactly how many games he's not going to be able to play with the certain designation that he has. I'm sure they're gonna end up announcing that. He's depth. That's why he's still here, bro. He's depth. Eric Murray, when he comes in, when he ain't getting hurt, played well. He played very well for us last year when Jimmy Ward wasn't on the field. Him and MJ Stewart ended up getting hurt in the same game, and it ended up hurting the depth that we ended up having. And I want to say, guys in that game, dudes end up going crazy on us. They good depth pieces, and they can play on special teams. That's why they're here. I mean, it's really no other safety, and the only safety that we could was Lonnie Johnson. So our wide receiver room has never been this deep that we actually sit here and talk about the receivers should we keep in the fifth spot. Yeah, like there's no team where you have 4, 5 legitimate wide receivers on any given day. Yeah, Justin Simmons got signed to the Falcons like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that's done. Yeah, Justin Simmons got he paired up with Jesse Bates in Atlanta. Gilmore gone. Xavier Howard is still out there. So you want to bring in a savvy veteran, you want to be able to revive his career. If you want to be a veteran player, Xavier Howard is still out there. Only reason why they wouldn't is probably because of some of the legal issues that he got going on right now. But besides that, as far as talent, I think that you can be able to revive with some of the things and get him on a 1 year, similar to how you did with Steven Nelson. He has way more ball production than Steven Nelson ever had. And the fact that he wouldn't be your top corner or your second corner puts him in an even better position. I wanted Stephon Gilmore pretty bad, but that didn't work out the way that we wanted to. I played with Howard and Wheatley, motherfucker ran on punt return back, ran a punt return back, had a pick six and played QB. Bro, boy is nice, bro. I'll put just a little bit more depth. Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree, Elijah. I think of all the positions that we potentially could be vulnerable with is definitely the linebacker spot. So I definitely agree. If they find somebody that they want to be able to add to the active roster, in the meantime to be able to be paired up with Aziz, if it's somebody that they trust and they see, that they have potential to boss up, but we're gonna need an off ball guy. We can't just get a guy who's just a run defender or somebody like that. We're going to need somebody who can actually play in coverage. Because if we get in situations where we start to play dime or if we're playing nickel, we're going to need somebody to be able to guard the middle of the field. DYL, what's good, bro? Yeah, yeah, I already know. We already spoke on it. And Christian Harris going to start the season on IR. So, that is what it is. When he comes back, I think everything's going to be just fine. It's an unfortunate situation, but as long as Will Anderson is good to be able to play week one, I'm not really going to be worried about it because I think the front four guys are going to be making so much havoc that it's just going to make it easier for everybody at the second and third levels. Mm. So glad that we have Mitchell on this team. Yeah, it wasn't no doubt that he was going to be on this team. I understand a couple of weeks ago, everybody wanted to get rid of him, and everybody was like, "Oh, he ain't catching the ball," and but he turned all that around. It's been very productive in the last preseason games, and I think when the season starts, where they find whatever his role is going to end up being, and I definitely think they're going to end up using him in short areas. So anything less than 5 yards, whether it's a third and long, second and long, I mean a second and five, situations like that where you're going to do more man coverage. I think he's going to be used in a lot of those scenarios throughout the season. You have everybody that you have on this football team can run routes extremely well. Yeah, but he needed to be on this football team. Um, I don't think anybody was going to end up throwing you like a third or a fourth round pick, even though I know Jahan Dotson got traded for a third round pick. A case could definitely be made that John Mechie was worth a third round pick. Was anybody going to want to throw that away for him? I think that's what it was going to have to be if you wanted him. And similar to what Big B was saying earlier, I don't think you go into this season and you give away any of your dynamic role players off to another team when you haven't gotten the benefit from what he does best. If we go back and go look at all those New England teams and when Bill Belichick started to get rid of everybody, he did that after they won the Super Bowl. Then he started letting everybody go. He won with them first, then let them go. I think that's definitely a great mindset for you to end up having. And it is funny when he did put it that way because everybody that we've seen who got let go, who was an asset to that football team, didn't get released until after they got them to the promised land and won. Hmm. Make sure y'all go ahead and y'all jump in that super chat. Memberships will be going on. What we'll end up doing, we'll end up for members. If you do become a member, what we'll do, we'll have Wink Wednesdays. That's what I'm going to designate it as. And on Wink Wednesdays, what we're going to do, we're going to do a complete overview, and we're going to talk about matchups during the week, and we'll end up doing a live panel, and you'll be able to come on and be able to express your thoughts of what's going to go on. That's what I'm going to end up bringing to the channel, and we'll end up doing that probably through Prism Live or Google Hangouts or something like that. Where we'll be able to be or StreamYards. Want to be able to do it on there so I can be able to do some other things in the background and be able to send out links. So y'all make sure that if you get the memberships, we'll end up doing a Wink Wednesday every day, every Wednesday. Memberships, I want to say, is only like between $3 and $5, something like that. And they got the higher tiers are a little bit more. I want to say the highest one is like $10 or something like that. So if you're interested, if you like the content, you can become a member. You can go ahead and get you a super sticker. You know what I'm saying? Or go ahead and hit that super chat. What we got going on in this comment section? I'm not seeing anymore. Team Hella Stack. I mentioned for that week one to get on Tyrone Biggles. Man, look, week one is just a game that I want for just several reasons because I'm hearing way too much about this whole IR 15 situation. Like, why are we sitting here and pretending like Anthony Richardson is a top, like he's the guy that needs to be watched out for? Like, I don't understand how a guy with poor mechanics, poor anticipation skills, poor ball placement, and really just a lack of understanding NFL concepts is supposed to just come into the league and just dominate when he's never been healthy in any season that he's played at any level of playing football. Man has less than 500 passing attempts as a quarterback in his entire career, and that is horrendous. He was struggling exactly, bro. He was struggling against third string guys, second and third string guys. Meanwhile, the first string guys were talking shit to him, making him throw the ball. All he could do was run. Yeah, that's because we already know that's what his strong suit is. Nobody would be talking about AR-15 if he couldn't run the ball. If you had to go solely off of him passing the ball, which is what's going to take you far in NFL game and in the NFL, everybody was talking all that shit about Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson could always throw the ball. I understand his weapons and everything, wasn't the best when he first started off when he took over for Joe Flacco. They ran the ball a lot. They did what was needed. He was a rookie. There was a lot of things he didn't understand. But the moment that the very next season happened, what did we see? We seen a completely different player who could not only pass but was a threat on the ground and didn't put himself in harm's way where he was able to play games and win MVPs on top of the division and go deep in the playoffs. Anthony Richardson is not that player. And for anybody to even compare him remotely to Cam Newton is asinine. Cam Newton was dominant at every single level of football he ever played. He was the number one player in the country. He was the number one player in college, at Blinn, and at Auburn. What? He was dominant in the NFL. He's a way bigger player, way taller, way more effective with his legs, way more effective arm, and it's not even close. For anybody to sit like Anthony Richardson because of his 40 time is a better athlete than Cam Newton is ridiculous. He's nowhere near Cam Newton in terms of athleticism. I don't care what anybody says. Just because he can run in a straight line and he can run a 4.4 doesn't mean anything. And to pretend like he's the greatest athlete we've seen at quarterback is ridiculous. Did we not see Michael Vick? Did we not see? Are we not looking at Lamar Jackson now? Like what are we talking about? I don't even think he was a better athlete than Deshaun Watson. If we're being completely honest, You may be able to run faster, but you're not more effective than any of the players that I named. And you're not even on a level of Mike Vick or Randall Cunningham at all. We need RG3. You're not even a better athlete than RG3. Thank you. He wouldn't have got drafted if he couldn't run. Exactly, bro. Lucas Oil is really not. Is really Nico Collins stadium. You damn right it is. It's gonna be from here on out, especially since we got CJ pumping up the crowd because they're gonna be on Hush again, and we're gonna go over their heads. And Juju Brents and all them guys from the Colts still aren't playing well for the Indianapolis Colts. So I can't wait to be able to break that game down next week. And if we end up having some members, depending on how many members it is, we're gonna be talking a whole lot of shit come next Wednesday. So if you guys want to hop in that, if that's something that you want to be a part of, I suggest that you go ahead, hit the button where you can end up becoming a member. Go ahead and pay that membership, and we're gonna get it popping, bro. We're gonna talk prop bets. We're gonna talk we're gonna talk about some fantasy football, who you should start, who you should bench this week. We're gonna get into a whole lot of things coming up on this upcoming season. So if y'all into fantasy, we'll be able to give y'all some tips as far as that goes too. Man, shout out to Big Steve, bro, for becoming the very first member on Third Coast Sports TV, man. Appreciate that love, bro. We need it over here. We need it. I see we show love everywhere else. I'm glad y'all showing love where the original started this game. Appreciate that big time, bro. Making it my business on Wednesday, week Wednesdays, it's going down. I'll probably end up putting like something on the community tab to be able to let y'all know when exactly the time. We're probably gonna end up doing it probably around the same time, probably around 6. But maybe 5, 6. We'll try to get it. We'll try to go ahead and get it worked out on the right time. But it's definitely some things that I'll have a little bit, be able to work out, over the next few days. So any updates that I give you, I'll probably try to give y'all some updates on that over the weekend. And anything that you guys want to be able to discuss, we'll talk about that. Anything that you want to catch up on, let me know, and we'll talk about all those topics when we get in on to the membership show. Let's see. And because you became a member, good there goes your wrench too. If you become a member of the channel, you are automatically part of the wrench game. That's another one of your privileges. So shout out to Big Steve for turning that little membership on. Y'all hop up in the chat, man. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling, man. I don't see no comments. I don't see nothing going on. Y'all jump in and let me know what's going down. If you ain't better than D, if you ain't better than DW4 or RG3, I mean, he's not. He's not in any capacity. I just seen RG3 bro cycles up for 75-yard runs, and it's not just because he's fast. It's the vision. It's to be able to make players guys miss. I'm watching Deshaun Watson stiff arm dudes running over dudes. You know what I'm saying and stuff like that. Like, what are we even talking about? They've been hyping up Deshaun too. From what I'm hearing, he's still, having a little bit of injury bug. I'm not quite sure what they're doing in Cleveland, but it ain't none of our business no more. We got what we need to get up out of that deal, and you see how we sitting right now. Cleveland's not going to be in a situation where they're going to be able to be bad enough, and nobody's going to take on a Deshaun Watson headache when it's all done. How do I feel about cutting Jacob Phillips? I mean, I can understand where they wanted depth at certain positions, and it's more of a numbers game, bro. I think a guy like that, they'll end up stashing him away on practice squad if he's not getting picked up. You need guys like Neville Hewitt. You need guys like, Neville Hewitt is helping you out tremendously on special teams. And when he comes in, if he is in situations where he's on the field playing defense, man, the man is opportunistic. Hanson, Henry. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we got guys. We got guys. Hill, like I didn't get to see the complete defensive roster at linebacker, but now that you're saying no, but now that you're saying a lot of the names, we're really still in a good spot. And then when Harris comes back, you got Aziz. I'm not really, when I look at it that way, I think you can still try to add somebody, stash some guys away on practice squad, develop them a little bit more. And if you find a spot or somebody goes down, you already know what to do. I trust D'Amico Ryans. I trust what they're doing with their staff. Whatever they choosing, whatever they make for this team, I know it was the right move. And I really even agree with it, even outside of, just from my own perspective. Now, the archery thing, they're saying he was supposed to be out for 6 weeks. The only reason why I'm saying that he may not be, depending on his situation, if he's able to get it overturned similar to the way that Arden Key did, you know, if he's able to get it turned up, then we finna shit all on these boys. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But as it stands right now, he out for 6 weeks. Man, K1 Stella, what's good with it? Brandon Hillum, yeah. Shout out to you, fam. Who else we got? Teran, what's good, bro? Should you right, D'Amico? Go get it right to go. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Think about everybody that we have on this football team. Everybody who recently played for us, and think about how much better the guys are going to get now. How many guys walked away from this football team and got paid more than they would have ever gotten paid from us? Jonathan Grenard made way more money after playing with D'Amico, had his best season ever, and went off to get 70 some $1 million. Man, I appreciate you, bro. Getting lane tattoo at 8:30, 8. Oh shit, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up. You're gonna probably have to shoot me a picture or something. I can put it on the community tab. Show that off. Yeah, bro. I mean, Blake Cashman got the most money he ever gonna get. Sheldon Rankins and Malik Collins. I said this my last drop. I said this. Nobody was worried about Malik Collins 3 weeks before. D'Amico gave this man an opportunity. Had the best season he ever had, whether he played with the Saints or the Jets. Like, what are we talking about? Blake Cashman played for Robert Salah in that same defense that he plays, but D'Amico was able to get way more out of Blake Cashman than Salah ever could. He goes back home to Minnesota, and him and Grenard is on the same team, and they're gonna wreak havoc. Everybody that we had went to good teams too, so it's not like they went to some scrub ass team, where they're not gonna be coached up defensively, and where they're not gonna end up having some success. Maybe Grenard and Cashman may be in a situation because we don't know what the quarterback play is gonna end up being like because McCarthy ended up going down for the Vikings. But then again, they may just be one of those surprise teams because they have a relatively deep team. True D'Amico made no name players back. Bro, look at what he just did for Steven Nelson. Steven Nelson played for the Pittsburgh Steelers for years under Mike Tomlin. D'Amico gets his hands on him in 1 year. Bro, he's like top 10 and picks on the season. So I'm saying, like, these guys end up having the best seasons ever, and now we are so worried that if he brings guys in like Foley Falikasi, who already played for him on the 49ers, why are we acting like he doesn't have a rapport and he's not gonna get the very best out of these guys? Man, y'all make sure y'all go, man. I'm giving y'all some heat right now, bro. Y'all make sure y'all jump in that super chat. You know what I'm saying? Join Big Steve and becoming another member. You know what I'm saying? He's the first member of the channel. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Big Steve, for that. We want, like I said, if you guys are just hopping in, we're gonna start doing what we got called Wink Wednesdays. We're gonna end up doing a live membership. So for everybody who becomes a member, we're gonna end up having you come up on the panel. We're gonna have StreamYards. We're gonna send out the links. Make sure that we have that, and we're gonna end up talking about fantasy football. We're gonna talk about prop bets for the week, so we can be able to make some of y'all some money throughout the season. as well as talking about the game previews of what we having for the following week. I want y'all to be a part of the process because y'all been so much a part of my process over the years. So this is the way I want to be able to show my appreciation, and y'all can get it out in real time versus putting it in the chat. Man, shout out to Big B, big dog. Shout out to Big B, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to that, man. Shane Steichen, D'Amico over Shane Steichen. I would agree with that. As a head coach, I definitely like Shane Steichen's not to be. You really can't take away from what Shane Steichen did last year, especially considering he got Gardner Minshew paid, and he's more than likely going to be the starter for the Raiders. So this man leaves one team, becomes the starter of another team, and has a deep enough squad, has a relatively better skill players than he even had when he played for the Colts. Devontae is better than anybody on the entire offense. Matter of fact, Devontae is better than everybody on the Colts as it stands right now. We don't even have to go back and forth with that. Yeah, he could have got paid, bro. He could have got paid, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't need to cry over spilled milk. Milk Dud made the right decision. So did the dude with the vest. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't really gonna worry about it. The Nick Land TV, bro. What's good with you, man? Appreciate you coming through on the channel, man. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like button before we giving y'all this heat over here. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot to talk about. Y'all give me some of y'all moves. Y'all put in some of the guys that y'all seen who's getting cut from the other squads. I want to hear how y'all feeling. How y'all feeling about some of these guys who got cut, and how can they be an asset to the Houston Texans? I want to hear y'all thoughts. Now, put it in the chat. Rokon was traded for 2027 6 round spot. See how dumb that sounds? I don't know what they was thinking. I don't know how you let Rokon go anyway, but it is what it is. Some teams just don't know what they got, or they can't get the best out of them. That's what changing your scenery sometimes is more beneficial for both teams. You couldn't get the best out of them. Maybe you didn't have the scheme. Maybe you didn't play to the strengths, which is why so many people leave. They go other places. They become more successful. Some people are the most successful where they started, and everywhere that they go after that, they don't appeal to their strengths. They fall off. That's perennial. One thing what always happen with players from Pittsburgh and the Patriots. Y'all ever notice that? Most people who leave Pittsburgh are never really good after they leave Pittsburgh. Most people who left the Patriots, especially during the prime years, the Brady years, weren't really good besides Vince Wilfork, John Simon. A lot of role players because they had a lot of good traits that could be measured, so a lot of guys were able to bring out certain things in their game. Linebacker Jones traded for him to the tight. Yeah, man, we're seeing that. Seeing that. We're thinking about when. Oh, hey Sherman Hill. I think he's gonna be available, bro. I really believe that. I really believe that. Like hell, maybe Texans giving up a six to keep a guy off another price squad will be worth it. And what context are you speaking about? Elaborate on that, Brandon. I'm not quite understanding what you're saying. So hop up in the chat and let me know exactly what you mean by that. Are you saying that we should give up a six or Ernest Young? Oh, I mean, it's not always about the compensation. And just because somebody gives up a six, you do understand that the player in the trade, he requested the trade. So he may have looked at, Tennessee for a multitude of reasons and said, that's a place that I want to play because I'm gonna have the best opportunity to be able to start. He went to Tennessee to be a starter, or at least a one or two guy at the will position. I'm not quite sure what they're doing at their linebacker position because they got a lot of injuries over there. He went there because he's going to be the main guy. He'll be the most productive guy that they have in the building outside of the guys that they drafted who haven't done anything for him that can't play right now anyway. If he came here, he's not a starter. So I can understand him not coming here because what exactly is his position really going to be? What is he going to be, a Sam linebacker? Because we don't play a lot of base coverage. So is he going to be rotating? Is he going to be playing in dime situations? Is he going to be playing in 3-3-5, 4-2-5? I mean, uh, what are we going to run some variations of, over defense, under, it gets complicated. It gets real complicated. So I think they have to weigh that in. And the reason why he went there, more than likely, he's going to be the starting guy. It ain't no competition there because they didn't do enough to actually address that position, which is why they got him so low. And linebackers unanimously don't hold a lot of value. Linebackers get dismissed just like that. Safeties get dismissed just like that. So people always feel like they can replace a linebacker. More often than not, they're able to find another suitable replacement. Bro, I've been ready for week one, bro, since the offseason. Because you hear all these Colts fans always talking about we barely won, we barely beat them. Bro, y'all were never in a winning position in the game. So how could we barely beat a team that we were always ahead of? Once we got the ball snapped to us, the very first play of the first drive for the Houston Texans resulted in a 75-yard touchdown, and we never really looked back. The most that we were down was the 3 points, and the only reason that happened was because you got the ball first, you drove down, you had a decent down, and the moment that our quarterback got the ball in his hands, what did he do? We've seen the rest of the story, and the only reason why this, I mean, and then we run out of bounds just to be able to kill the time, just to be able to not give you any time, just to get another turnover right before we end the game. So, what are we really talking about? We beat y'all in y'all house, and y'all house was rocking. And the moment that we put points up, you niggas was hush mouth. And all y'all can do is bring on all these coach players, whether it be T.Y. Hilton, who talking about Tank Dell and talking about C.J. Stroud. We got C.J. Speed, your other partner, the one who be on the corner with the hats. And we got Zaire Franklin, having a whole lot to say on various podcasts and being asked about it. And I didn't see no Texas player talking about no Colts player when we was on the top 100. But I damn sure seen Zaire Franklin talking about C.J. Stroud and CJ Stroud and Larry Tunsil on the top 100. I seen that. Educom, he got injured. He's out for the season. Latu, he running into Larry Tunsil. He's not sniffing anything. The only thing they have going for them right now on their defense is their linebacking core and their interior D line. Outside of that, it's not much. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna be able to recap and they're gonna find some kind of ways because they work crafty at being able to get sacks. But I don't think their front seven. It might be about the same, but not having Educom to be able to seal the edge on one side is going to be a major downfall to them. And they did not get better at corner. And we've seen that whether it was in training camp, preseason games, they're just not that good. And neither are some of the other teams in the division, but I'm not even going to make about them because we own the week one. So we'll mention them other guys when the time comes. But as it stands right now, week one, we on the Colts ass. They on the clock. And September, what is it? September 8th? The boys going to be feeling it at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Let me see what else we got up in here. Talking about what if he didn't drop it. Well, he did drop it. Okay, and we still had way too much time left. And you really believe that CJ wasn't gonna put us in the best position after how gas y'all offense was? Y'all defense needed that. Our offense was so risky. We was gonna come out and we was gonna blow the doors off y'all ass. Ashton with their best. Didn't do a damn thing against the Texans. I ain't gonna say he didn't do nothing because he had a decent game. He had like I want to say like 10 tackles or something like that. I mean, but it is what it is, bro. They gave up 2,000. Damn, they gave up 2,000 yards to their own division, bro. Where do you see that? That's crazy that somebody went down and added up all the games that the Colts played against the division, added up every single game, and the most yards he gave up to. I want to say they gave up like 600 some yards to C.J. Stroud alone. In 2 games, they gave up 600 yards. I already did the projections. Like he's thrown 4 touchdowns, no picks. He's been sacked like 6 times against them. Was so they was able to actually able to get to him. They was the only team who was able really even able to really get after him. So yeah, 330 some yards a game, 4 touchdowns. He's averaging 2 touchdowns, no picks. No fumble. Well, he got a fumble in that game, so in that first game. So it is what it is. But the Colts won't be a problem for CJ Stroud until the Colts end up getting a quarterback. AR-15 is going to be one of those guys. He'll end up having a very good game, similar like how he had in game one in college last year. When the college football season started back, and he's making all these acrobatic plays, and then he falls out for like 5, 6 weeks at a time, and then he wants to have another highlight game. So he's just that kind of player. He's never been consistent at any level, and now all of a sudden we think because he has Shane Steichen and he got some weapons, he had AD wide open on crossing routes, couldn't even hit him, had poor anticipation, was throwing the ball weird as hell. I was like, why are you throwing like that? Why are you trying to be cute out here? Because it's a preseason. And now all of a sudden, I think he's supposed to take that into the season and he's supposed to be far better because he's at home in front of his crowd. We seen what happened the last time we came to Indy. And it's crazy that when it comes to the Indy matchup, whoever's on the road is the winner of the game. I'm just saying. I think we sweep them this year, but you know, could they potentially beat us? Maybe. Coach couldn't do nothing against Nico. That's what I'm saying. Like Dalton Schultz barely did anything in that game. Singletary, didn't have the best game. Brevin Jordan didn't do anything. I don't even think we had Noah Brown. Robert Woods was ineffective, and this man had 9 catches. And not only to hell with the fact that he got the long touchdown, and he would have had 2 touchdowns if he wouldn't have got horse collar. But we still scored on the drive anyway with Singletary. If we don't, bro, this man was 9 for 9. I want to say he had 16 catches against the Indianapolis Colts, and he averaged like 150 some yards against them in 2 games last season with CJ as the quarterback. He had 140 some yards the first game. He had 195 yards, 196 yards, and he was 9 for 9. Like, bro, every single time I'm talking to you, what can you do about it? There's nothing you can do about it. You have Kenny Moore. You got one good guy. He ain't enough. Because when it comes to Diggs and when it comes to Tank, y'all not going to be able to do that. We got a better running back now. We're going to have better tight end play. You're gonna have Cade Stover blocking on the edges, and I know he's gonna end up having some gaps where he's gonna end up getting beat, and so is Dolphin Schultz. But if you mean to tell me that you guys gonna physically be able to run with us, play for play, and it's not that I don't like their weapons. I like AD. Josh Downs is already hurt. He ain't finna play that game. Mo Alley Cox, really? I'm supposed to be worried about Mo Alley Cox. I'm not worried about that guy. Alec Pierce ain't never done shit against us. Michael Pittman, who is that to us? Like I'm saying, they'll have some good matchups outside of the Houston Texans, but when it comes time for the Houston Texans, they don't want to see us. Past their linebackers, they secondary ain't shit, and we all know this. They know this. If they was going to address anything, that's what they needed to address the most. They needed to address secondary if they wanted to compete with anybody in the AFC South. They can't even handle the Jags right now. Since the Jags have had Trevor Lawrence, they've only won one game against Trevor Lawrence, and that's a damn shame because we all know he's overrated as f. David Williams, what's good, bro? Welcome to the channel. I've never seen you come up in here. If you've been through, man, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? If y'all boys want to go ahead and jump back off in so we can get the membership popped off, I want to have at least 5 members to be able to go into the next week Wednesday for next weekend because we're going to try to pop that off next weekend. I mean, not next weekend, next week. Going into the season, and you'll end up, that's your membership day. Membership days will end up being designated, and we might end up making an extra day for pregame on Sundays for game days. Those will probably be the designated days that I'm gonna end up having for members. So we're gonna still work that out. Schedules and stuff like that are gonna be made because I'm always gonna go live maybe an hour or so before the actual game kicks off. During the football season. And like I said, we'll also be talking fantasy football. Start, bench. Some of the waiver wire moves, as well as some of the prop bets and some of the things that we can end up doing. To be able to make some extra money on the side. Mhm. Mm, let me see. And trying to do anything to stop those three. So we'll open things up for me. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, what are we really talking about? Like, I want to know schematically how you going to stop us. Unless y'all got a pass rush, like, let me think about some ferocious pass rushes I've seen. The Denver Broncos 2015 pass rush with Von Miller, and that was a very good pass rush. You know, the Jacksonville in 2017, that pass rush. The 2013, Seattle Seahawks pass rush. Hell, the Houston Texans pass rush from 2011. If y'all got a pass rush like that, that's really the only way I can see y'all defense really being in games. Yeah, y'all gonna probably be able to stop the run because y'all do have a good linebacking core. So I give you that. You definitely have some benefits to your defense. You got DeForest Buckner, you got Grover Stewart, who will be able to control the line of scrimmage in most games, but they're not gonna be able to get to the quarterback consistently, or they're gonna be able to make plays. And when they do make plays, is it gonna be on the money downs? We're gonna find out. What is it? Yeah, yeah. Give me a second. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, but I'm seeing a whole bunch of things, and I'm not really, I don't have too many concerns, about this division, as it stands right now, because the only team that I understand we got the Colts, but when it's time for the Titans, and the main reason why I can't wait to see the Titans this year is because Titan Anderson, and if y'all on YouTube and you seeing that he was making a whole bunch of videos about Hannah not too long ago, especially when the jersey shit was kicking off before our jerseys got announced. He was making shorts. He was making a whole bunch of content about the Houston Texans. He had a whole bunch of this to say. He had a whole bunch of that to say. And we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out towards the end of the season when when we see them they low. Sorry. There you go. Yeah. What do you think Jeff Okuda will play a slot over Petrie when he's once? I think he's gonna be more of an outside guy. So when he needs to have a rotation, I don't take him much as a slot guy. He'll probably be like the number two guy behind Lassiter, or he'll be behind Stingley. But I think they're gonna be on the field quite enough. If you do see him, you'll probably see him more. If they do choose to run like dime, you'll probably see him more of those situations. I don't think he provides much on special teams, but if they do choose to bring three corners, you'll more than likely see him on the field since he has some of the better skill on behind those two guys. We're gonna see a lot of different schemes from D'Amico that we weren't gonna be able to see. And I think one of the aces in the hole who's always gonna be a safety net for us is Caleb Bullock up top. Because I don't think teams gonna be able to play deep on us all year. Oh, y'all got anything else for me though? I want to hear some more of y'all opinions, see what y'all talking about. Appreciate everybody who came in the stream today too, man. Last stream was a very good one. This one seemed like it's gonna end up being a good one. I might have to have another one scheduled, for tomorrow, probably around the same time. We're gonna go live 7 Eastern, to be able to kick it off. We can probably talk about some fantasy football lineups or something like that. Matter of fact, can't do it at 7 tomorrow because got a fantasy football draft that I gotta knock out first. If I do it, I probably gonna have to do a stream before that, probably about 5 p.m., 5 p.m., maybe 6 Eastern. How do you feel about the O line? Man, I've been feeling good about the O line the entire time. They just need to get healthy. They're healthy now. The depth that we have feel very good about Kendrick Green, Kenyon Green. I love the center play. I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing this. I'm seeing the schemes, and I'm seeing the play calls, and I'm seeing how a lot of the guys not named Damian Pierce was able to run the rock effectively. I think they have a lot of trust. I think they are going to make it's going to be a lot of plays that are going to be wide open, this year, and we're going to have a lot of great protection. And the fact that you already have CJ, being one of the better guys and having some of the best anticipation and footwork in football right now, I just see him being able to just take over that situation and making the best of it. Even if a guy does go down, I think we even have very good depth after that. And if this O line can at least be top, top half of the league, that's more than we can hope for. I think it's going to be one of the better passing units. But when it comes to run blocking, if they can be about 14, 15, somewhere in that, from where they were last year, being one of the worst, offensive lines, as far as run blocking was concerned, I see no reason why they can't be more improved in that area, especially considering the talent that we have on running back. Do you think Case Keenum take over the OC job? No, no. If he leave, bro, if Bobby Slowick leaves, Gerard Johnson, that's his job. He's been with CJ Stroud for years. The quarterbacks coach, he's gonna be the next OC when Bobby leaves. And I'm not even willing to even talk about Bobby leaving because there's no guarantee that he's going to want to leave. And I see him wanting to be in a situation similarly. Like becoming a head coach just to become a head coach is never really a wise move. Come a head coach on your terms when a situation opens up with a place that not only you can envision yourself playing, but the team has money. The team already has some requisite pieces. It's already a competitive football team. You just need a few things that you just want to be able to introduce so that you can be able to get what your philosophy is off the ground. This is why D'Amico and Nick work so well and why they have the correct synergy is because they already had a lot of good players in place. Nick had already drafted well 2 years in a row with them being on the roster, and look at what they're doing. It's similar to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson could be a head coach right now for the Lions, but he chose to stay another year. And they had good teams that he could have went to that he could have built up right now. So it's just like okay, if Dan Campbell doesn't work out for whatever reason, if he gets overly aggressive, if he puts them in the same situation that he does last year and they lose in the NFC Championship or they lose a Super Bowl or something like that, I don't see it, especially if it plays out exactly the same way that it did in last year's NFC Championship. I can see him getting canned and easily just elevating Ben Johnson in a situation with a team he built on offense, and they'll still have their cohesion and be able to build out the remaining portions of the defense and add more depth at wide receiver. That's what I see. Oh, hey, Trouble 49, bro. What's good with you, big dog? I appreciate you coming through, man. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like button, man. Shout out to Shout out to the whole 2020 family. Shout out to Big Cat. Everybody out here in Carolina Nation. I see what y'all boys doing, showing love. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all showing love back. Oh, D Love, Honcho has some scheduling conflicts right now. So, he's just trying to make sure that he's trying to get his schedule back right so that he can be able to start the streams back up so we can be live on the Sauces group. So, be on the lookout for that because I think when the season gets ready to kick off, we will be right back at it. So don't fret. Screws and Ghosts. What's good, big dog? What's good with y'all boys? If Stoics is smart, he sits behind D'Amico and Casario and learns more about the big picture. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not worried about Bobby Slowick leaving. And if he leaves, okay. Gerard Johnson will step in. He'll have his own he'll have his own thing. He already understands because he played quarterback. So what are we? What it's not really a worry. not really a worry at all. I don't even if I don't see I just don't see a team that's going to be prepared. I mean, where is he going to go? I mean, is he going to go to a team that not only has a top three pick, has the choice of having his quarterback? The only place that I can see him going where he's going to be able to take over if they choose not to renegotiate his contract, that's really the most fruitful situation that I could see him being a part of. He's not going to go to Carolina if they get rid of Canales. I mean, I don't see him going to Tampa Bay. I don't see him going, if they want to get rid of those guys. I don't see him getting rid of. I don't see him. Well, I don't even know where I would even envision him at. I don't think New England's going to move on from Gerard Mayo. I mean, the most. This is probably the best situation that he could go to with an established team right now. If they were to fail, the best team that he could go to right now is in New York. And both of those teams, he could go to the Giants if they fail and they choose to get Dayball out of that, which I think would be a mistake because he does not have the requisite quarterback play to be successful in that division, and they have a very good team right now, offensively and defensively. If you go look at the Giants roster, honestly, bro, they stacked. They protection got better. I mean, they're gonna have a good running game. Bro, they got a beastie ass front seven to be able to rush the passer. Where they weak at is in the secondary, and even while I understand they address safety, I understand that they gonna try to address some other situations. We all know Deontay Banks at corner ain't it. But you're gonna have to address corner heavy. You're gonna have to address they already addressed tight end, so we're gonna see who we got Theo Johnson. You can be able to make a strength to strength in the next following draft. They got a bunch of receivers that they can throw the ball to. You got Neighbors, you got Hyatt, you got damn, it was somebody else that they got. You know what I'm saying? But they got that Andrew Thomas is one of the better tackles in the league. Get rid of Daniel Jones, that problem might work itself out. And if he was to go somewhere like New York, it wouldn't take him no time. As long as he gets the right quarterback to be able to turn the Giants around, and we could talk about them potentially leading, that division probably consecutively for years. Um, Only other team I see besides that is the Jets. The Giants and the Jets. If Robert Salah is out after this year and cannot get it done, I could very well see them being able to move on from Robert Salah and he could fill in that spot if he chooses to. But why would he want to do that when we don't even know what shape Aaron Rodgers is going to go? So Aaron Rodgers is going to have to look damn good for him to be able to go onto that team, especially not being able to draft a quarterback that he wants to fit his scheme. And sometimes walking away from a good thing, it's not. I mean, I just don't know. I just don't. I don't always understand why dudes just want to take any kind of job. And with what we've seen him do with C.J. Stroud, he's always going to be attached to that. So when you look at this team and you see what he was able to do in short order of work and with patience, and the fact that he is going to listen to his players and put his players in the best position when he has the depth. I mean, and Houston may just be too fun for him. He may just like the grind. He just might like the attitude. And just because you the captain of the ship doesn't mean that you always gonna have guys who gonna jump ship to be able because they're able to get opportunities elsewhere too. Not everybody wants to make a lateral move. Speaking of the Lions, Detroit and New York, that's who I got, Sherman Hill. Boys tried to laugh at me on Unk the other day when I was on Unk channel when I was talking to Howard when he was talking about AR-15 and shit like that. I was like, no, we're going to the championship, and the Lions is going to be the team we're going to see. Personally, I believe the Lions is going to get there. I think they're the most talented team in the NFC. No, I do not believe it's the San Francisco 49ers. They would be number two, number three, because the case can be made that the Eagles is better than them. You hear that the 49ers is the second best team in the NFC, bro. If Dan Campbell don't hold these boys back and just go for the points and put them in six, bro, they easily overall. I'm taking Jameer Gibbs. I'm taking Laporta. I'm taking Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like Golf better than I like Purdy. He's been to a Super Bowl already. He's been to an NFC Championship, so they got the same resume. He throws the ball better. I think he makes better decisions. He's very good statistically. And I mean, if you end up putting a couple of other receivers around him who could end up being, bro, they'll be unstoppable in the NFC. Much of this is made, and much to talk about like what they got going on, and I think they'll end up having a longer longevity than the 49ers. And we don't know how Dan Campbell would be in a Super Bowl, but we know exactly how Kyle Shanahan is three Super Bowls. And while I can credit you for making it to a Super Bowl, you making it that often and never winning it means absolutely nothing to me. You're one of the greatest play callers that the NFL has ever seen, and you can't win a Super Bowl, and you have what is perceived as to be as the most talented team in the roster, regardless of conference. People always try to say that they have the best receiving core. We know that ain't true. Debo. If we're going by duos alone, top two receivers in the game, y'all ain't even top five. The 49ers aren't even top five. Bro, Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, way better duo. They both 1,000 yards receiver, 1,000+ yard receivers perennially every year. Debo only has 1,000 yard season. He did that 2, 3 years ago before they got Christian McCaffrey. The only reason why you seen him in that role where he was able to have that many yards is because Christian McCaffrey was not on the team. Now that Christian McCaffrey on the team, he ain't doing none of that. So because of that, how can you then say that him and Ayuk are the best guys? You see so many guys who be like Ayuk shouldn't even get paid anything remotely close to what Debo is, what CD is. So how can we say that this is the top guy, bro? Tyreek and Waddle, come on, man. If we're talking about duos alone, that's better. Diggs and Nico is better than Ayuk, and Debo. I'll take Jordan Addison and Jettis over that tandem. I'll take Jamar and Higgins over that tandem. So when you want to put it like that, how can people keep talking about these position groups and talking about they have the best receiving core in that, and people keep misspeaking saying that Kyle Shanahan is a great developer of receivers? You mean receivers that was a number that got drafted in the first and second rounds? Really? What other receiver have they had that was effective in any kind of way? And if you say Jawan Jennings, you mean the guy who had 260 yards last year? He didn't even go super crazy in the Super Bowl like that, but it's one game. If you want to sit here and say, oh, he had like 60 something yards, he had a touchdown receiving, and he threw one to McCaffrey, whoa, big deal. They still lost the game. It's just a different perspective. People just love to talk just because the team went there, but just because the team went there don't mean they're the most talented team. The Chiefs is not the most It's nowhere near close to being the most talented team in the league. They have the best head coach and quarterback and tight end in the game and the best D tackle, and they find a way to get it done because they've been battle tested. They don't have the best team. Their team is not better than any other team in the AFC. Their teams overall is not better than the Ravens, not better than the Texans, not better than the Bengals, not better than the Jets, not better than Miami, not better than who else would I say? Who else would I say? I could make a case they probably are better than the Ravens, maybe. But then again, I can make the case that they're not. But I'm gonna get ready to bring this video to a close. I appreciate everybody who came through. If you like to comment, make sure that you guys subscribe. Make sure that you go ahead and get you a membership. Copy your super sticker. Getting that in the super chat and be able to show your love. Like that, like, share, subscribe. Um, It's a whole lot we got going on this season. Love the way that the team is shaping up. Week one is right around the corner. So y'all make sure that y'all stay tuned. We got a lot of good things coming on to the channel. If we can get things kicked off on the South Sports, that'll be great. We'll be able to be on that side as well as my own channel. But in the meantime, y'all fucking with me. Welcome to Third Coast Sports TV. I'm your host, Wink. Talk sports, love sports, enjoy sports. Y'all enjoy y'all night. Be safe.